He said take a village to raise a child, but what if the village is retarded?
All right. I think I'm good to go now. Um, my mic was muted. Yeah, I got vocals. Okay. All right. So let me lay some groundwork. Let me lay some groundwork before, because I mean, obviously, I'm gonna offend people in this, primarily black women. I'm gonna offend, but really, I'm gonna offend all crazy women, and it's a lot of crazy women. They will be offended by this live stream. And the reason why they'll be offended is because it's a lot of women that are fucking nuts. Okay. And you can be actually nuts or crazy or mentally ill, and you can actually heal your mental illness. Very, very difficult to do, but also possible. And what a lot of times what people do is, well, I'll tell you what they do, primarily women. um you know, I don't date men, so I'm not concerned about, I mean, obviously how crazy men are. I typically try to avoid fucking men at all possible. um their direction, if I'm in a, I don't even look at men in their eyes, you know. I think it's kind of pointless to look a man in the eye. Like, I've trained myself to be in passing, not to fucking even look at men. But me, I don't know, something about Indiana, but it's not even Indiana. Even when I go to Illinois, dudes be staring at other dudes, man. Especially dudes that don't think it's like when they be fat or something, they like compare themselves to other men. I just, I try to avoid eye contact. And even certain women will try that I'm not really attracted to. I try to avoid eye contact. But nevertheless, I just felt compelled. The spirit has compelled me to go live and kind of give you a un let's just say a formula of my success that I really don't talk about. Like, one of the formulas for my success that I don't really talk about. Okay. And that's primarily my avoidance of crazy. Okay. My avoidance of crazy is actually a superpower. It's I just as the title say, an elite superpower. Of avoiding crazy is my superpower. That if I didn't avoid it, I would have all kinds of problems with real estate. I'll have all kinds of problems investing. I'll have problems excelling in life. I will definitely, I promise you, have a whole bunch of problems in life if I dealt with crazy head on. and took crazy women very, very seriously. At one particular time, I did do that, and I failed miserably, very, very much so. And I just felt compelled to tell you that this is one of the reasons why I have made leaps and bounds over the years. I basically, at the detriment to my penis and balls, I have stayed away from crazy. And that's, I'm not the only one, right? I mean, that's, kind of pretty similar to what most men that you would quote unquote call in the manosphere are talking about, to some form or another. Just basically, don't stick your dick in crazy, basically. Is definitely the sentiments amongst men that are trying to self-improve themselves and um get their life together, and continue on their journey. Avoiding a crazy at all costs is definitely part of that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to talk about what has compelled me to go live. It's a particular video by a content creator that goes by un unplug, I believe. Let me see. Let me get his information. And I'm gonna react to his video. It's called Average Man Unplugged. Okay. I think I reacted to his video before, but I'm going to react to it. And it just, when I saw this video, it kind of reminded me, what I do, which is avoid these types of women. I'm not gonna say I completely avoid them. I'm not gonna cap for you and say I completely avoid these women, but um, I definitely tell them about themselves. Sometimes I'll be honest with you. Some women, they will deal with you, and they'll scale back their crazy kind of for you, and you might even be able to reach them to a certain extent for them to actually get some type of help or change their philosophy by their interactions with you. I have had that happen to me many a times. But yeah, I'm gonna open this up. Bear with me, and we're gonna react to this content, which is from some TikToker that basically, or someone on social media. I don't know where. Most likely TikTok said black men don't protect us. Okay, so we gonna get that going uh, for you in a bit. Now we gonna let this buffer. Gonna let that buffer. Give that some time to buffer, because one of the things that I find is that when you get right into it, sometimes it doesn't play properly. So I'm gonna give that time to buffer. Yeah, I'm eating my breakfast, so um, bear with me. But I mean, I just can't say it enough. Like a lot of times it's not necessarily about money. It's about how you live your life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's how you actually live your life. Like, okay, let's talk. Let me show you some slides real quick while this is buffering. So it's kind of what it's like the four types of man. So a lot of when it comes to women that are crazy, they're really like dummies with money and dummies with no money. Because a lot of times what you have out here is women that basically they have not took the steps to get mental health treatment. They have not gotten inpatient and outpatient mental health treatment. So in essence, they know they need help. So they're dummies with money or dummies with no money. So avoiding these women is a fucking superpower. I can't say it enough. I mean, I have to just do a live stream, this one, to explain why that is an elite level superpower, avoiding these women at all costs. And if you can, avoid sticking your dick in crazy. Now, me, because I have the skills to help these women, I will stick my dick in crazy if and deal with it the best way I can, but I don't advise you to do that.
Message.
Then you got to understand is if you are going to deal with these women, you got to understand if you're not coming from a perspective of a wise man that is not going to take the bullshit, meaning you're not going to accept their foolishness. um if you're going to accept it, they're going to have the upper hand on you in a sense of they're going to drive you crazy. See, when I deal with these women, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of times these women are younger than me, and then also they they know, they get the tone and the sentiment that I'm not gonna accept their foolishness. And as soon as they believe that I'm going to accept their foolishness, they don't know where I live, or even if they do know where I live, I block them and I just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? I literally cut them off right away. Don't give them any opportunity for any type of further dealings with them or anything like that. I just pretty much stop dealing with them right away and I move on. So that's how I deal with that. Now, this is complicated and I don't suggest it when you have a whole bunch of money. See, when you got little money, okay, that's cool, maybe, possibly. But when you got a lot of money and you're dealing with these types of women, this is where it gets a situation where they might damage your property. They might make false reports and all kinds of stuff because you were their come up, and you were their opportunity for a come up. So it's kind of like, when you got a lot of money and you deal with certain women, they don't want to let you go because they won't probably find another you. So you got to be very, very careful, depending on what type of level you are on. Because if you're, let's just say, you you have a quite a bit of wealth or income, and they know about that, and you sticking your dick in crazy, basically you can have a situation where you can have a fallout, Once you once you decide not to accept, the second you decide not to accept their foolishness. So I just have to, be a warning for you, because I mean, I wasn't necessarily well to do when I was dealing with these women, right? So I just have to warn you on, if you got money and you trying to deal with these women and you don't know how to deal with them, I suggest don't deal with them at all. But like I said, these women are are not trying to get inpatient and outpatient treatment. So, basically, I would classify them as dummies with money or dummies with no money. So that's what you're dealing with. So let me play this video and get right into it. This is Average Man Unplugged.
Like you ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm not gonna touch it.
Black women just haven't created a safe space for us to be in our masculine. I mean, we'll protect and defend, but only for the right woman. So if Black women would create a safe space for us to protect and defend, then they wouldn't have this complaint, because it comes naturally to us. I'm actually proud of those men. They practice self-awareness, self-preservation, and emotional intelligence. I mean, Black men are just so abusive, and I'm glad that they didn't add to that statistic. If she doesn't cash app you before you protect and defend, then she doesn't like you. And all we hear is women talking about, why should we be cash apped? You're paying us for our time. That's about right?
It's an evil world we live in.
If Jesus can't save these hoes, why are you trying? What make you think you greater than Jesus, nigga?
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Ron, back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, I hope you subscribe. So I got a video for you guys of a woman who is triggered, apparently about some situation where women were being harassed by some guy. And you know, the typical situation where Black women feel like Black men should put themselves in a line of fire for women that they don't know from a can of paint. And she's in her feelings because supposedly the men that were there did absolutely nothing. So we're going to go over it. Hopefully we can find some more context on exactly what happened in this situation. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it.
You want to understand why the fuck Black women can't be in their feminine energy? It's not because of niggas like him. It's because of niggas like y'all. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video that's circulating on IG and TikTok where there's this guy that is literally going off on these Black women because he reached out to touch one of the friends and she wouldn't let him. So he's literally standing there calling them nigga bitches in front of all these fucking people, including these 3 Black men that's sitting here. How dare you sit there and allow this shit to happen? All 3 of y'all had to do was stand up.
Let me pause this right here. This woman right here is a typical, this is very important. You know, he pretty much reacted to this video. This is a short video. Even at 23 minutes, this is a short video. I got a little more time to dissect this video, and then I got a little bit more reach that I can go with here. But he did a pretty good job. This woman here, nostrils flaring up. This is a big, heavy set, mammy Black woman. That was the reason why she's masculine, most likely, is because she was raised by a masculine woman. Okay? She was raised by a masculine woman that ran away from submission, ran away from most likely her dad.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
And this is what happens. This is what happens with these women.
Ain't no motherfucking bitch running shit when you fucking with a real alpha nigga. Ain't no bitch running shit. It's just a disaster waiting to happen when the bitch try to run the alpha. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Throughout history, what an alpha get ran by the bitch? It don't happen. It's just the family gets separated and the little kids think they supposed to talk shit about the alpha. Meanwhile, the alpha still doing the same shit he was doing that's productive, and the mama ain't doing shit but running a motherfucking mouth with a dick in it every once in a while. Be nothing but who the fuck we are when it really boils.
That's the storyline. It's real simple. I'm gonna tell you, man. It's people sitting in ivory castles that's rich as fuck, wealthy as fuck. They know what is going on in the black community. They know what's going on in the trailer parks. They know what the fuck is going on because in many cases, they granddaddies is the ones that set the shit up. You gotta understand, right? Welfare, feminism, the court system laws that are unfavorable to men, these are all designed for poor people. This was all designed by the elites, okay, to basically put poor people at odds with women. Poor men were the most vulnerable in dealing with other poor women and women in general. This was the setup. It's a chess move. Okay, so you got basically, you know, the feminism and basically combined with all of the court laws, the child support. I call them simp laws because basically it's a judge that's a simp that's they favor the woman and the mother against the men to basically siphon money from him. He ain't got no money because if he got money or not, it's the states. That's how they get money. They get money from child support. So it's a favorable situation. If even a woman leaves the man, she get child support, or she can get TANF. A lot of people don't even understand what TANF is. TANF is like a woman could get child support basically from the state. It's usually a situation where the mother doesn't report who the father actually is to the state, but basically the state gives 100% welfare. It's basically TANF. TANF is basically the state paying the woman child support. That's the best way to explain TANF. So a lot of times if a woman, is basically in a situation where she most likely can't work or in poverty, she'll get TANF and basically get cash from the state welfare for having those children. Um, basically all of these things were set up to basically have women become basically breeding cows, okay, for the state, for the government, okay. And on the, basically, the states get money also from the man. And then also, I'll have to say, when a woman does get TANF, the state are very, very aggressive in trying to find out if who's the father on record. Because the father, if they don't go after anyone, the state is on the hook for being the dad, okay, for paying the child support, basically, in essence. So all of these things led to a situation where the women pretty much, mostly poor women, because they were already poor, they can be on their own, have their children by usually another poor man, right? In this instance, we're talking about, the black community, right? So they would basically hide the children from the man, or don't listen to the man, and do whatever they want to with the children. And then this is the product that came from this, is this woman right here. Nostrils flared up, blaming black men that don't protect them for her being a masculine Maxine. Okay. Basically Maxine is the character from Set It Off. You have to watch the movie Set It Off. It's a good movie to kind of explain a lot of the gynocratic it's a good movie to explain the black gynocratic community. Set It Off is a if I was a if I was a in high school, if I was a high school teacher, I would get permission from the parents to play Set It Off in class, like for the juniors and seniors, so they can see, and I would definitely have them write a book report on it, because Set It Off is actually a very good depiction of what this conversation even is about, because you got a lot of single mothers in the black community in these lower socioeconomic areas, especially, and they're just trying to do all kinds of crazy shit to survive. Okay, and the thing about it is, the elites, right? They set all of this up way before I was born, and they were playing 3D chess, because they knew the poor black women were going to take this. They knew the poors were basically going to take this hook, line, and sinker, and they knew it was just going to be a bunch of lemmings going off the cliff. They absolutely knew it. And from all of this, a lot of women are basically getting incarcerated. Okay, they're trying to survive. They need to have Set It Off. They need to redo Set It Off and make it again, because there are still women doing the same thing. They're trying to do all kinds of scams, trying to do everything they can to, because you could call it the myth of black female independence. Okay, and it's not just even black female independence, it's it's other women that trying to be independent of men, right? Running away from submission, right? In order for them to run away from submission, because a lot of women, they try to do everything else the other women are doing. They follow hives, like beehives. So you got the women at the top that have money, and they're able to be independent. They got college education, they got their degrees, they got the ability to earn a living. They got an entrepreneurial drive, and they got a business, and they're able to be independent. Well, the women in the lower classes, they're trying to catch up to this. They're trying to catch up to all of that small percentage of women that are independent, and they're independently successful. You got a lot of black women that are they can't be independent that well, without doing some illegal acts and all of that. And to be honest, even the women, what you find out about the PPP loan scams and the COVID scams, a lot of those women that even were college educated, they got caught up in the PPP stuff and the COVID scams and stuff like that too, because they were trying to get extra money and everything like that to live their lifestyle. So they got caught up too. They're in possible. They're quietly dealing with Fed cases.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
And you got to understand that this is no pity party. This ain't no, the man did this and the man you know, he did this and set this all up. I mean, yeah, he did, but you took it. You knowingly, your grandma, see, we we about 2 or 3 generations into this shit from the 1960s. Your grandma knew, you knew the story of your grandma taking that welfare. Okay. You knew the boomers, they knew they mama took welfare. Then they started doing the same shit. Then they kicked their father, the baby daddy, out the house. They raised Gen X kids. The Gen X kids tried to do the same shit. Didn't work out. So you can't blame Big Daddy, you know, the white oligarchs, the racist white oligarchs from the 1960s and 50s on this shit. You already knew the game. At this point, you already knew the game. You knew what was coming, and you, in your demonistic, egotistical mind, tried to, basically, you're trying to run away from submission, just like your grandma did.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
See, I'm that type of channel, man, where these women will listen to the clouds because I'm giving them that Father John's cough syrup. I'm giving them that sour cough syrup, you know, to deal with that hardcore cold that they got. You know, they ain't gonna come out in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, one of the things about women, they get embarrassed when you call when you on to them. You know what I'm saying? When you on to them, you know, a lot of dumb dudes, they're not on to them because they either don't care or they, you know, just smooth brain. But when you on to them, they get shy and embarrassed and shit like that. But the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? This is why this is, right? This is the basically formula that created this she beast right here. In the words of Black Ram 313. This is the creation. Single mom raised, you know, masculine Maxine, that's, you know, blaming black men for her being a masculine Maxine.
3 of y'all wouldn't have even had to open y'all mouth, because when he saw 3 black men stand up, he would have backed the fuck up. I don't give a damn if you are gay or straight. There is no reason why any male should stand back, allow another man to berate a female, call her out her name, make her feel less than, and you sit your ass on the sidelines like you ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm not gonna touch it. That ain't for me. It's so difficult not to be in our feminine energy, because we know if something pops off, 9 times out of 10, we gotta stand up and be the man.
You can't be in your feminine energy because you're a fucking man with a fucking dress on, with a frog in your throat. You know, and it's really, to be honest, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why I did this live stream. You gotta understand craziness, right? Now, wealthy people, rich people, they crazy too, but they I mean, it ain't even just wealthy and rich people. It's just people understand craziness. Don't you see this shit crazy? The way she talking, the way she sounds, it's not normal, right? It's something fucking off, right? And the thing is that you gotta understand, why is this off? What is the source of why this shit is off? And then also, you gotta understand that it's a superpower in understanding to avoid this type of situation and scenario. And, you know, anywhere within a fucking nautical mile of this person and anything that she's associated with, you know, and complete separation is a fucking superpower. I swear to God, it's the way of fucking success.
Message.
I mean, like literally, I know a lot of women that are like this, and I know that probably is, I mean, trying to avoid it is almost like, damn near impossible. But you gotta understand this shit, it ain't about you. You know what I'm saying? It's about your children, it's about your legacy, your future, it's about even your present. Because when you gotta understand, when you dealing with a woman and you arguing with her, you basically um you got to understand you're a low level man when a woman is constantly arguing with you, berating you. You got every day you got to fucking please her. She's got you in a situation where she's fully manipulating you. You under full control and manipulation. And you are very basically a lower tier man, and you are because you don't even want to come home. You don't even want to get out your car. You want to go. Men used to go to the bar before they came home, because when they came home it was no peace in the household. You got to understand, other men, that's why you feel bad around other men, because you got all of these women problems, and this is what you
You're
are.
automatically beta. Automatically, you're beta. You're beta as fuck.
And yeah, you feel some type of way. You feel some, like, guys. Yeah, guys don't, they feel some type of way when men don't have these problems. They don't even, like, a lot of guys, they try to avoid certain men. They don't even come around because in their mind they feel like they got to deal with a woman like this, and they don't know why they do, but they feel like they got to deal with it. Maybe they was raised by a single mother, and they feel like this is the way that you got to, deal with this. It's all kinds of gaslighting when it comes to this topic. Even you got men that talk about, well, they always talk about black women. you know I mean, hey, if you don't talk about, avoidance, if you got to understand what you got to avoid. So every now and again, what I'm saying, it is what it is. Um, a lot of the stuff, right? Like, this is all, new content, right? And the thing is that it's two ways you could look at it. You could look at avoidance and just staying away from it. But I'm gonna tell you what the elite and the rich do, and basically what they do in areas like this where these women live. They wait on evictions and foreclosures. That's what they do. They zero in like fucking vultures, because you gotta understand, this is weakness. It's not power. This is weakness. So they wait for evictions and foreclosures. That's what they do. Yeah, they don't say nothing. They don't say shit. They talk amongst their friends. They ain't going live talking about this shit and none of that. They just waiting for evictions and foreclosures. I promise to God. My right hand of God. They wait for evictions and foreclosures, and basically, you gotta understand, this is fucking insanity. And a lot of times, that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be evictions, foreclosures, and the fucking county jail is going to make a whole bunch of money off of fucking bonds. The formula for this, type of woman, and dealing with this type of woman is going to get you involved with. No financial consistency, because you're dealing with crazy. You're dealing with a mentally ill person. I told you. You know what I'm saying? It's degrees of mental illness. This is definitely extreme levels of mental illness right here. And one of the things that mentally ill people do is they blame other people for their fucking problems. That's what they do. A mentally ill person blames other people for their problems.
I'm a female, and had I been in that situation, ain't no way in hell he would have been going off on her like that, because I would have been all in his fucking face. Why do y'all do that?
At this point, I can see already, y'all ain't never gonna run out of excuses for being masculine, are you? But stick to the end, you guys, because I'm gonna be showing you some examples at the end of this video why men aren't really on that type of time anymore. But before I do that, I want to show y'all the comments in her video. All right, so look here. First one, we are the most unprotected ever. Had it been a race of women, they would have stopped. But another race of women, they would have stopped, stood up, and I put my money on it.
And basically, here's another thing: is I was taught by, basically, when I was in preschool and kindergarten, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words may never hurt you. Even when you go around white folks, it'd be crazy ass people going around white folks. It'd be black guys, black women going around black folks saying all kinds of crazy shit. But as long as they don't put their hands on anybody, basically they're not gonna do anything. They might call the cops because it's a scene, it's an argument or something like that. They see people raising their voice or whatever, saying crazy stuff. They'll call the police, but they're not gonna intervene just because somebody is saying words. The thing about a crazy person, when you say words, they get triggered. So they're concerned about words. Like I said, you learn in preschool, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. That was fucking kindergarten, preschool logic. Like, I mean, it's amazing, and that's why they say a lot of people are grown children, because they don't, like, words should not hurt you. What somebody says really should really hurt you if you really think about it. Because when you think about, words versus somebody actually physically harming you, violently harming you, what are you concerned with? Words or somebody fucking actually harming you? A lot of men are in a fucking graveyard because they let words excite them. Both from women or men. And that's the thing. Like, that's a lot of people walking around here and they weak mentally. And when you're weak mentally, you let words affect you. And you got to understand, you're very, very mentally weak when you let words hurt you.
He said take a village to raise a child, but what if the village is retarded?
Then here we go, because they like him. I'm like, yeah, y'all feel like y'all the most unprotected. Y'all are also the most homophobic. You feel me? I'm like, just because black men aren't bending the knee and doing what you want at every beck and call, like you the leader. Funny how that works. Oh, well, black men don't make good leaders. Y'all don't even want them to lead. Shut the fuck up. Tell you, bro. They hate us, so they know y'all are the ones in competition with men. Men are minding their business and doing what the fuck they supposed to do. He knew they wouldn't. He looked over at them to make sure it continued on. They know black men hate us. The question you should be asking is, why do other men look at you the same way black men do? If you think those black men hate you. See, y'all don't want to have that conversation. It's literally black women against everyone else. We only have each other. Dude, don't nobody support y'all more than shut the fuck up. Problem is y'all. Everything is convenience for y'all, and I'm gonna prove that later on as well. They ended up finding out his real name is Manny Bahadas. It's sad because it's an insult to them and their manhood, and they don't even see it. Or they just don't care because you're not anybody significant to them. But, okay. 3 black queens just sitting there. See, look, more ad hominem attacks. I tell you. Y'all keep expecting so much from these men. I do not expect anything from them. Well, that was an underhand dig. That was an underhand shot, basically. Exactly. We always have to protect ourselves. They know we aren't protected. That was first thing I noticed. They actually laughed. The fact that one black dude repeated what dude said, like he wanted to make sure the black women heard him, he was antagonizing as wild. They sat on the sidelines and said nothing because they agreed with that guy. Those 3 queens were too busy making a mockery of the situation. Then they will hop on a podcast and drag us right after this. Now, the ones getting dragged is this woman here reacting to it. The white lady is the only one that stood up for them. He turned up even more when he knows.
And then here's another. We take a break from him reading the comments. There's another video. You know what I'm saying? Like, right here about the masculine black women. Right here, and this is a Gen Z that basically understands the whole plot, right? And she actually understands what's going on. So let me play this. Let me play this real quick. So she actually gets it. You know, she's one of the smart ones that actually understands the overlay for the underplay. Let's see here. Let's play this here.
Pushing masculine ass women. Why is the media pushing masculine ass women like Glorilla, like Megan Thee Stallion? You know, where are the feminine women at? You know, do you know that pants cause yeast infections? Like it's been scientifically proven. Pants can cause yeast infections. When you wear dresses, it's better for your coochie health.
You know, and the thing is this, right? Like, I mean, I did a live stream. I did a video on the rise of the tomboy, and the reason why is so many the masculine agenda took its course with as far as women. The reason why it was so many masculine women in America is mainly due to the European wars. The white man had to go fight in America, had to go fight wars in Europe in World War I. And then by the time World War II came, the women were working in factories. They were making the munitions, the bombs, different manufacturing parts for war. So these were the poor women, obviously, that were doing this. And there was a lot of poor women at that time. Okay. And when the men came home from World War II, that survived World War II, they now had to compete with women in the workplace, women in the factories, and it never reversed. It only progressed from 1950 onward. And that is the reason why there's so many masculine women, because because of basically World War I and World War II, and basically the elites and oligarchs. It was basically World War I and II was the fallout of the European elites versus the Europeans in America. I mean, yeah, basically in America. It was a worldwide European war. So the fallout from that was the basically the poor women that had to go work in the factories and work, for money. It never reversed. It only progressed to what we have today. And this young woman is right. What she's even saying about the pants and the yeast infections and all of that. I don't know that, but I definitely heard that before. Okay. Even bras. I heard bras are not healthy for women. You know what I'm saying? So um, I believe her. I believe that what she's saying is true. You know what I'm saying? She knows, but she's a woman. She probably would know more than I would about that, right?
It like let your coochie breathe, ladies. I'm telling you, we're dressed with no drawers and let the healing. You need those elements, right? That's why we're supposed to be wearing dresses. They want to make us masculine to take us. They don't want black women to step into our divine feminine, ladies, because once we step into our divine feminine, we're magical. Anything we say, we're automatically like magical beings. Anything we say goes, right? When we step into our purity and our divine feminine, which we have to heal, like, oh, so how do you heal your womb? Like, how do you reclaim your divine feminine nature, right? You have to, first and foremost, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but you got to, that's why they try to attack at all costs in the music, media, the food, even the food commercials are sexual, y'all. They try to throw sex. They got kid cartoons that are, I don't know, the same people who are creating the porn companies. The porn is the media pushing masculine ass women like Glorilla, like Megan Thee Stallion. Where are the feminine women at? Do you know that pants actually, like, this was not just a saying, y'all, back in the day. Pants can actually cause yeast infections. Like, it's been scientifically proven. Pants can cause yeast infections.
So yeah, I mean that's it's definitely an elite plot to damn near everything. It's like when you all the 007 movies, it was always some type of elite madman that 007 had to deal with, right? And a lot of these conspiracies behind them are evil, wealthy men, highly wealthy men, right? And women. So yeah, that is a thing, right? So I'm looking for something in particular. Let me see him. Let me see here. Mm, Let me see if I posted this. I think I did. Let me see. Mm, oh yeah. This is the one right here. This is another one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is it here. Wait, let me hold on. Let me see here.
And how could you? These women, they don't have to work for the rest. Just want a man to and your looks start. You It was spoiling her with Chanel bags.
Yeah, that's not necessarily.
Louis V left it, right?
Yes.
And then one day.
I might have just posted that on probably just Twitter. Probably just posted that on Twitter. Yeah. I just posted that on Twitter. Wait, hold on. Let's see what this is here.
I'm 54 and
Yeah. That's cool information too.
You don't learn these lessons about money now, you'll regret it later. You're not.
So, yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, nevertheless, that was some good information from the young Z. Let's go back to my man, Average Man Unplugged, and finish out this video here. Let's scroll past the comment section. I get it. You want to have content, so you want to read the comment section, but I don't think that people need to read the comment section. That's just my opinion, but I rarely do reaction videos, but that's just, if I was, I wouldn't be reading comments. It doesn't matter the length of the video. People just want the comment. I mean, the content, not the comments.
The reason that it is said that black men does not protect black women is because some black men, not all, so you do not fall within the some category, just shut the fuck up, all right? Because I got my family around about that don't play.
You gotta understand. You gotta also the title is the title. Staying away from crazy is an elite superpower. Okay, an elite superpower. Okay, one of the things that you gotta understand is that you gotta know what you're dealing with. And you gotta understand why this is, right? You gotta reach in your books. I mean, I always tell people, it's certain books, man, that you gotta read. People ask me from time to time what books I should read or what books have I read and all of that type of stuff. And one of the books that you gotta understand is a powerful book. Is called the Black Destruction, um, the Destruction of the Black Civilization by, I think it's by Chancellor L. Williams. And one of the things that you got to understand about the black community and black people is that we were and are still, to be honest, very much in that process of the fallout of the destruction of the black civilization. If you don't understand that, you won't understand anything. If you don't understand that, you won't understand anything. And the reason, I mean, basically the fallout of that destruction is basically in America dealing with slavery, post-slavery issues, is dealing with women that were left in the hood and basically left to deal with basically warlords, right? And even be warlords themselves, right? A lot of women in a hood they're gangbangers along with the men. Okay. And they won't tell you that. You know, it's almost like a secret organization or a secret society, right? They won't tell you they're a fucking gangbanger. But I know a gangbanger when I see one, both men and women, because I had to deal with this type of environment. I know this environment very well. I'm dealing with it now, unfortunately. And the thing about it is, um, that's definitely, you're not superior, um, you know, as far as your mindset might be off like a motherfucker, you know. And one of the things that a lot of black people find out when they move out of those environments, they realize how hard it actually is to get out of those environments and stay out of those environments. And one of the reasons why that is because your mentality is fucked up. That's part of it. That's why I'm doing this live stream, is to tell you that, you know, basically staying away from this craziness, it will allow you to stay in your superior mind, to keep your superior mindset intact and avoid people that have fucked up ass mindsets like this chick here.
that don't play that shit and that don't play about the women in their family. So heavy on the some black men. Some black men get off on looking around for protection when she's being disrespected or threatened. So if you are in a public setting, and we all know, like, men from other cultures and other races, they feel quite comfortable, openly comfortable, because they know if they disrespect a black woman, it's not always going to be a man.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a man there because you're a single masculine Maxine, and you ran away from submission a long time ago. You watch your mama run away from submission.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
That's why. You watch your mama run away from men, dealing with men, dealing with men every fucking year. Your mama got a new boyfriend, and you don't talk about that. See, one of the things about black women that I really don't respect is, instead of them distancing themselves from their dysfunctional mother, they actually embrace their mother. Primarily, I think because that's the only woman that they have, so they believe that that woman, their mom, is an asset. She's crazy, but I'll still deal with them. I respect the woman that realizes her mom is dysfunctional and she stays away from that dysfunction. Because one of the things that I find, you know, and this is personal, I find that a lot of women do, and they share the same dysfunction. They actually embrace that dysfunction. They look at their moms as heroes. And actually, really, to be honest, they were just doing dumb shit. And it's like basically they just survived their mother doing dumb shit. And it's like, instead of them distancing themselves from their mother when they get older and just kind of being like, you know what, mom, you're dysfunctional as hell. I barely survived your ass. You know, the man that was across the hall, he was molesting me. They just fucking just act like nothing ever happened and utilize their mother, you know, and, you know, just pretend that nothing ever fucking happened when they grow up, and then just basically, you know, just embrace their mom's dysfunction. And then when they have kids, and then before they even have kids, they get advice from the same dysfunctional woman that put them through dysfunction. And you gotta understand, right? That's that's the stupidity that I see a lot of women do. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I knew my mom was dysfunctional. I knew even to a degree or another, my dad was dysfunctional. When I grew up, I knew these were both dysfunctional people. I didn't embrace them like that. I didn't look at them like, subject matter experts. I knew, okay, pretty much I was on my own and I had to do the best thing I could. And I knew that I had to follow my own advice that was different from theirs because they were dysfunctional in a lot of different regards. Black women, a lot of times, that they don't understand that they gotta be on their own and they gotta separate themselves from the dysfunction, which is their fucking mother, or even dead, if that's so be it. And that's that that's another thing, right? But I don't think I ever explained that. But yeah, what I'm saying? Like that dysfunction is a major problem. It's almost like, a lot of these women should have got their ass beat by their grandma and their grandfather, but they didn't get that because they lied to their grandparents and they didn't tell them what they did. And then you find out when your fucking parents die, you find out all kinds of secrets and shit because they've been holding lies because they're fucking dysfunctional.
And it's going to come to their defense that they got an answer to. And so let's say you out and about and you get into some type of discourse with somebody from another culture. He starts disrespecting you, and then he starts getting comfortable enough to like threaten you with physical violence and shit like that. There are some black men that will sit and watch that and will look forward to that black woman looking to them for protection just to deny them the protection because they feel like that protection is to be earned. You niggas is scary. Y'all scary and you're coons. If you feel like a black woman has to earn your protection, she has to be deemed worthy of your protection. She has to be deemed worthy of you speaking up for her.
At the end of the day, another thing is, it's just you gotta look at things simple. One of the things that I learned, and it ain't necessarily from no pimp, but before I even pretty much put the pimps in the conversation, I look at it like I looked at a lot of women like you're not even using your full value of a woman. It's almost like you see, like, I mean, I've said this before. A lot of times I see women wasting their life. It's not, it's kind of, it's like a pimp can see the value of a woman, obviously, but in different regards. But I ain't necessarily looking at it from a perspective of a pimp, like I'm trying to extract value or currency out of a woman. I see the potential of a woman and I be like, damn, he's just wasting their life away. Because you got to understand, the rich and wealthy, they still have housewives. That's where I'm going with what I'm talking about. They have housewives. Even not even just the rich and wealthy. Guys that make like close to 100 grand or even less, they're typically non-black. They have housewives. I can get in my car early in the morning and I can go to the north side of Chicago and I can show you white women pushing their strollers and they're housewives. And they man is not a millionaire. They man got a fucking office job. Their husband got an office job, barely struggling to make it ends meet. But they know that it's better for that child to be with their mother in infancy to, let's just say, 6 years older or 6 years or older, living with her mother, living with his mother, those children learning from their parents, not being in a if you want to talk about protection, it's also is protection as well, because you don't know how many children get abused from child care facilities, from early childhood facilities, from even, dealing with it even in the school system. And that protection that that mother has from basically strangers watching their children is the ultimate protection. And you don't get that protection when you want to be an independent modern woman, boss babe, career chick at all costs, and you got this independent mindset. You don't get that because you got a mind virus. You don't you don't know you don't know. Like, see, I look at I when I was young, I always knew I wanted to be rich and wealthy. I used to watch lifestyles of the rich and famous. So from the time I was young, that was what I wanted. That was my life. I mean, I didn't even know my grandfather was already rich and wealthy. I didn't even fucking know that. He didn't tell me till I was like 27. He told me the truth. You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker kept the guy. See, my grandfather, he was a Mason, so he knew how to keep a fucking secret, man. He man, that motherfucker, man, it was already rich and wealthy, man. I watch a TV and I'm like, I'm 5 years, 6 years old. I don't know what the fuck a liquor store makes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Man had liquor stores and apartments on top of the liquor store, and had another building across the street. A laundromat with apartments above that. I didn't put two and two together, man. I wasn't no fucking super prodigy genius. I was smart, but I didn't know what the fuck what was, I wasn't that damn smart, you know what I'm saying? Um to figure that out, to ask the tough question. He would have told me a lie, But the thing is that when I see the rich and wealthy, or even not even the rich and wealthy, and I see what they do and is successful, I want to be successful. I don't want to be a fucking loser. At the end of the day, fuck being rich and wealthy. I don't want to be a fucking loser. So a part of loser avoidance, I don't want to fucking do what losers do. That's generally what I want to avoid, doing what losers do. And what losers do is, do loser shit. And at the end of the day, yeah, when it comes to protection, that's part of protection. But like I say, I see women, basically not using their maximum potential because it's a lot of variables within that. A lot of them know that they're crazy. Women know that they're crazy, obviously, right? They know that they're nuts. They know what they're not able to do. A lot of the women, they can't be housewives because they can't keep a fucking man in the first place. They can't keep a man in the house. You know what I'm saying? They're nuts. They got their mom was nuts. They transfer the fucking mental illness onto them, the dysfunction onto them, and then they just continuing this dysfunction in a new way, and they have never addressed it. Like, one of the things that I understand, because I was my mother was in the Nation Islam, and those women in the Nation Islam is the MGT and the MGC, Muslim girls training, right? They train them on how to be a housewife. Does all of the women in the Nation Islam excellent housewives? Hell no. I did a video a long time ago, like maybe a month or two ago, and I talked about how culture is stronger than fucking religion. Culture is stronger than organizations. Is stronger than all kinds of different things. And one of the things about Black culture in America, and the dysfunction that is in it, is stronger than any religion. So a lot of people, they hop to religion and organizations, and they wonder why everybody is fucked up in those organizations and religions. And it's because the cultural dynamic is so strong, it overrides anything that you're gonna get from religion or anything like that. So the thing is that they do train women to basically, like, I remember one of my friends, his mom don't even drive. He was raised in the Nation of Islam. I wasn't necessarily raised in the Nation of Islam. My dad was Sunni, and my mom at that time, she was Sunni. Now, the thing is that one of my friends, his mom and dad were actually in the Nation of Islam. He actually went to one of the schools in the Nation of Islam in Chicago, and his mom didn't drive. His dad picked his mom up every day for work, coming and going. It was no time where from the house to work to back to the house, his mother was going to be in some bus around some strangers, having to interact with anybody without his father's presence right there with her. When she wanted to go to the mall, he was right there with her. She wanted to go to anywhere she wanted to go to, grocery store, he's right there with her. Ain't no opportunity for no disrespect or no person to do anything because he's right there with her. That was how it used to be actually also in the 1950s and 60s and onward or before, because women weren't really driving like that. When I don't know, as far as like, you know, like for example, in Saudi Arabia, the women just started to be able to drive the last, I think I want to say 5 or 6 years. They just recently were or had the ability. The crown in Saudi Arabia gave privilege for women to actually drive just recently, as like the last 5 or 6 years. So the thing is the you know what's going on is because black women are so splintered and interdependent and independent, they want to have an independence and also the protection of men with that independence. That's what's going on.
in the sense of violent or whatever the case is, there are some black men, and this started way back when women got tired of being cheated on and the husband having a family around the corner and shit like that. You know what the consequences was for a woman speaking up for herself and no longer wanting to tolerate that? You raise these kids by yourself. You pay these bills by yourself. That's where.
And then here's the thing with the whole cheating stuff. And you gotta understand, I was not raised in no Christian household. Okay, this is personal for me because I wasn't raised with the understanding, like, in Islam you can have about 4 wives if you want, and if you're able to take care of them. So you gotta understand, I don't have a mindset of cheating. I don't have a cheating like that. It doesn't like it's already understood. That's see, actually in the Bible, believe it or not, in the Bible, there's passages in the Bible that actually basically talk about polygamy. And a lot of Christian women, primarily black women, they don't want to address that. They don't, even in America, a lot of women do not like the fact that Islamically you can have multiple wives. They don't like that. And it's certain discussions and stuff like that with that. I am not religious, but I am not monogamous either. I don't even practice monogamy. I don't pretend that I'm monogamous. I don't the idea of monogamy is goofy to me, because obviously a lot of men are pretending to actually be monogamous in order to please women. Women actually believe that they can have their own prized possession, which is one man. And there never in a time in history have there been great men that basically were monogamous. If you think about all of the great men that ever lived, they were not fucking monogamous. and men are naturally not monogamous. And there's plenty of science. Most mammals are not monogamous, by the way, as well. And it's funny to me how you have women, because they want to avoid embarrassment. Primarily, one of the reasons why women don't want men to be polygamous or have multiple women is because they get embarrassed by that, by other women, by society. So women go out of their way to avoid embarrassment. So that's one of the main reasons why they don't like that. And again, I I stay single primarily. That's one of the main reasons that I will stay single for a longer period of time, is because I don't even from exception tell women that I'm monogamous. Most women in America want you to be monogamous or play the monogamous game. Even they are not monogamous, and they pretend to be monogamous and have sex at work with other men and have private, side dudes and all of that type of stuff. So the thing is that that's always, something of contention with the whole "you cheated" thing, and I don't agree that men should play that game where, I mean, if all men were in one accord and decided not to play that whole "I'm gonna just pretend like I'm gonna be monogamous," because that's actually simp behavior. That's absolutely simp behavior. When you can't stand on your own, and you gotta play the monogamous game to get the woman and keep the woman that you really want to be with. You're basically a simp still. I mean, you just probably nobody really told you that shit.
You're automatically beta. Automatically, you're beta. You're beta as fuck.
I just lost one simp that was eyeballing me. Yeah, I mean that's the game that lower tier men that play. The men that are higher tier, like for example, I always mention Chris Brown. I got to give Chris Brown his kudos. All the women want to have sex with Chris Brown, right? A lot of women, they want to get with Chris Brown. Lost another simp that was eyeballing me. Yeah, so basically, they already know that Chris Brown is not going to fucking get in no monogamous relationship with them. They know they gonna get with Chris Brown and that's it. But with you, because they believe you're inferior to Chris Brown, they expect you to be monogamous.
Stupid bitch. It's not a competition, it's a cooperation. Stupid ass house, nigga.
So yeah, let me continue playing this song. I'm on my soapbox today. I got the spirit in me.
Deadbeats came from. So fast forward to now, women actually know how to handle shit even more now than probably before. You feel me? Black women are known for getting that shit done. So they can no longer threaten being a deadbeat or not providing anymore. That doesn't work anymore because we are the providers. So you know what's next in line? They have to make you feel like, oh well, you want my protection, right? Well, shut up. Well, shut the fuck up. Treat me like a man. Respect me because I'm a man. Then I'll protect you. So yeah, if you're wondering why people have this sense of,
She just said, yeah. She did. You notice she didn't address that shit. She looked the other way. she looked the other way. You know what I'm saying? She ain't address. She just said, yeah. She didn't want to address that part of that philosophy. She didn't want to break that one down.
and it's very noticeable. And I actually want y'all to stay far away from me because there's real men out here that we don't have to like work for that protection. We don't have to earn that protection.
Are called CompuServes. And basically that term came from Dr. Tia Son Johnson. These men are in the graveyard right now. They're worm food. They in somebody's urn as ashes, because you know, these women use these men to basically weaponize them to protect them from their foolishness. It's no reason for it. Like the reason you gotta be on the, you gotta understand when you out and about and a woman like this starts to, this is a woman that'll cuss you out in public. That's what she's talking about. She's telling you her behavior. You know, this woman right here, this hyena, she's this is the type that will cuss you out in public. And the reason why she's gonna cuss you out in the public is she has some ConcuSurfs. She got some ED209s on deck, okay, that are willing to crash out for her. Let me show you a story. Let me show you a story. Let me play a video. It's an old video. It's an old video. This is a prime example of what I'm talking about. And I played this video before, but this is a prime example. So I ain't never been to Philly. Never been. I never been to Philly. One of my favorite movies is based off of Philly, Trading Places. And you know, it was a shooting. It's an old video. This is from like, you know, probably 13 years ago. Might probably even be 14 years ago. And you probably, if you've been around, you already know about this you know, shooting. So let me play this video here. So this you know, basically Tommy Sotomayor, he coined the term ED209 and BT1000. Okay. These are basically kind of like hood chicks that, you know, basically their counterparts. The BT1000 is the Black Terminatrix 1000, and the ED209 is the Ebony Destroyer 209. And they both are tag team partners. You know, you see them all in the hood, you see them outside the hood, and you know, they occasionally kill each other. It's usually the ED209s that kill the BT1000s. But basically they're tag team partners in crime. And when the BT1000 feels disrespected because she cussed somebody out in public, she calls her ED209s to attack. So this is one of those cases here that happened. Like I said, I was on, you know, pretty much, yeah, right, 13 years ago. Let me see here. So this is what happened. So this is what she's talking about. This is what she does. I know that these behaviors are very simple. You know, it's like an animal. You know, that's why I talked about the different animal hierarchies and how their relation to, you know, people's behavior. It's very, very simple. Once you know the behavior, you just see it, you understand it, and you deal with it accordingly. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very similar.
We're going to begin with the trial of 4 people accused of a shooting at a bar. CBS News correspondent Elaine Quijano here with the story.
Well, Nancy, it's an incredible story, like a scene from the Wild West, only as a modern twist. It's all caught by a surveillance camera, and prosecutors say it started with a slap. This was the shocking video shown in a Philadelphia courtroom Thursday. According to prosecutors, on June 18th, this woman, Penny Chapman, seen here in the surveillance video, boarded a North Philadelphia bus with her young son. Chapman began spanking her son for running through the aisles when a male rider intervened, saying he would report her to Child Services. We then see Chapman make a phone call, and minutes later, 2 gunmen in...
I will say this. That's a little tap on the rear. That man should have not said anything about that. That is not like, it's not like, I could see if she was just nonstop just whacking the little boy. A little tap, that's not no big deal. That's, a little, what I'm saying, just stop it, right? Now, just because that man, like, two wrongs don't make a right, right? Just because he says something doesn't mean that you gotta assemble the cavalry. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody said something to you in public. And this is what this hyena on the other video was talking about. This is what she wants. They like, I'm gonna be honest with you. These women are bloodlust. Quite a few of them. They like it when their boyfriend kills somebody for them. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they absolutely do. Like, yeah, they into that. They love that shit. They think it's love when a boyfriend kills somebody for them. So the thing is that, yeah, this is what happened. I mean, you gotta understand. Yeah, she looked good, and you gotta understand, a dude in the hood, he don't have too many options. So a chick that looks good in the hood, the hood dudes will absolutely kill over that because everything is valuable in the hood because the ghetto doesn't have that much. So a woman that looks decent or looks good like she does, she's all right, right? But you got to understand the ghetto, they're not used to having nothing. So even women are very, very valuable in the ghetto. So they absolutely crash out. That's why it's so much violence. A lot of the violence in the ghettos in Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, it's over chicks. It's over vagina, because they're not used to having nothing. That's why I avoid these people because I don't value women like that. I don't value. I've been around women my whole life. Like I've been in different countries. I don't. A woman is not gonna make me crash out. I don't. You know what I'm saying. These men, a lot of them have never even been out of the hood. They never been nowhere. So all they know is whatever they see in front of them.
White shirts are outside the bus. Investigators say she called the suspects to come and shoot the man who threatened her. After Chapman exits through the back door, a third suspect holds the doors open. As the two gunmen begin shooting, some passengers scramble to the front of the bus, piling on top of each other for cover.
You can see where the shots actually hit were exactly where people were standing or sitting had they not moved.
During the chaos, an 80-year-old woman stands frozen in place.
So you see her very clearly because she doesn't actually realize what's going on.
Just in the nick of time, the woman ducks as a bullet shoots through the window, barely missing her head. Miraculously, no one on the bus was harmed, but all three men and Chapman are now facing charges in the shooting. Just an unbelievable story. Nancy.
Elaine, thank you so much. And joining us now is Morgan Modell Vadez. She's the Assistant District Attorney for the City of Philadelphia. Good morning, Morgan. Good morning, Nancy. Morgan,
I ain't gonna watch any more of this. I mean, it's just. I mean, if anything, I mean, if you got something to say about it, if you feel like you gotta, exact some type of revenge or discipline, just go on the bus and throw hands. What you need a gun for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand. I understand. Like, it's certain dudes I grew up around. They had a quick temper. They had a quick temper and they threw hands. They ain't go get no gun. They ain't pull out no AR-15. They ain't pull out no assault rifle. They just threw hands. I didn't necessarily, I mean, that's what they did. But you got to pull out a gun, what I'm saying, on some executioner type shit. I mean, that's why they call these people, man, 8209s, right? That's why Tommy made that term. And it's a term that he gets a lot of flack for it because you got to understand, you can't, the reason why he get a lot of flack for it, and I repeat it, and I get people that, silently hate on me because, basically they can't deny it. It's undeniable. It's pretty much, they are. You can make your own term. There's plenty of terms. They call them Pookies, you know, but I call them ED209s and BT1000s because they're killing machines. Okay, that they kill, that they're the reason why the ghetto is why it is, you know, the place it is, and it's so violent.
I appreciate you showing me that that's your beliefs, because I want you to stay far away from me. I want y'all to be on the other side, because there's men out here that understand they're men, and they understand that when it comes down to it, there's just certain shit that as a man and as a black man you cannot get out of. Point blank period. They not gonna make you feel like you gotta earn that. They not gonna make you feel like, well, what you gonna do for this protection? Y'all look crazy and y'all look weird. But me personally, I appreciate when a man is comfortable showing me that. Because now I know where to place you categorically. I'm surrounded by real men. My family, my friends. I got real men around me. You feel me? So yeah, if you was ever wondering, that's where that comes from. The reason
So expecting a protection from a complete stranger, that doesn't sound crazy to you. But a man wanting his protection earned is? What? I don't know. By my logic, that sounds like entitlement to me. And then I saw somebody in her comments talking about some, yeah, because my dad and my aunt, they gonna come for me. Like yeah, that's your dad and your uncle. That's family. That's completely different. She's talking about complete strangers that don't know you from a can of paint. And the other woman was arguing about the same thing. That's what they're talking about. But the truth is, and what they like to conveniently leave out every time they want to bring this topic up, is that half of the time, sometimes maybe even more than half of the time, these situations arise because these women have been popping off at the mouth or running their mouth, and now that they done signed your ass up for a fight that you didn't sign up for yourself. And then when men try to give y'all protection in the form of preparation or giving y'all like, hey, don't do this, hey, don't go there, don't do that, then y'all want to sit over here and saying we're being controlled. But I'm gonna share this video with you before I get into exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, ma'am, and remaining vigilant keeps one at a higher state of anxiety on a routine basis. This is a lot of the reason why men die before women. Taking care of women, especially in the event they do not respect and reverence us for it, relegates us to a higher level of stress throughout our entire lives. Stress leads to burnout, burnout leads to injury, injury leads to death. Imagine living a life where you were just sitting on the couch and still thinking, where's the next break coming from? Now, guy's not going to say that this is how they feel in their own home, but I think every man is willing to admit that he is still on sentry mode. Like little robots in Terminator. Women will never understand this reality, which is why they will continually diminish its importance. But they get it when they alone, though. Need a century, do you?
See, and that's the problem right there. Because see, women see correction and prevention as a form of control. Like when I covered the video of the woman that divorced her husband, who became a millionaire, and she was married to him for 23 years. And then when she finally started talking long enough, she finally admitted, oh, he would call me this or he'd call me that because I wanted to go out and dress like this and dress like that. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Because that man had boundaries and he was trying to protect his marriage. See how that goes? But see, what I've realized with today's women is they want to be able to do what they want to do. They don't want correction. They don't want prevention. They only want reactional protection. They only want protection when shit about to hit the fan or when something is going down, you guys. Outside of that, they don't want you to say a fucking word. But see, they don't want to acknowledge that part of it because then it justifies the reason why you wouldn't protect them in the fucking first place. So they just skim over that part like men are dumb, and we don't see that. But unfortunately, we live in a society where men have to play dumb to appease women. Otherwise, they think we're talking down on them and trying to belittle them. But let's keep it moving. That's a whole other conversation.
Black men don't speak up because every time we do, it's either a white T-man or a black woman that try to tear us down. I made a video yesterday, and I won't respond to nobody comments, but I will make a video responding to all y'all as a collective. I made a video yesterday saying that I don't like the way y'all got these little girls doing the boots on the ground challenge, and I meant that. I meant every word that I said. There are creeps and PDs out here looking at y'all little girls, saving their videos, doing boots on the ground, popping their hips, popping their fan. I actually tried to speak up for black women. You heard about it.
Yeah, they have these little girls as young as like babies twerking online, dancing, doing provocative adult type dances on the internet. And it's a lot of pedos on the internet watching this content. They even sell these videos to other pedos on the internet, and it doesn't matter. It's the dysfunction is the dysfunction, and it's a lot of dysfunction. And they don't, because a lot of times a lot of black women want to have fun. They want to have fun no matter what. So anybody that wants to interrupt that fun, they got something to say about it. They don't care. Like a lot of pedophiles, they target single black women with children because they know they're dysfunctional, they know they're weak, and they know their children are basically easy prey. You found that out. One of the biggest scandals that I found that out, that basically bust that wide open, no point intended, was the Sandusky Penn State debacle. A lot of those boys were getting sexually raped and molested by Sandusky. They were from a camp that was primarily single women with children, and that was in Pennsylvania. And basically, it just I'm just telling you, like, a lot of times avoiding this shit, man, all of this dysfunction and craziness is a fucking superpower.
Probably the creep. You probably the PD. What? Talks amongst each other. Every time we try to speak up and save women, save kids, our situation always a problem. How did we go from me saying that I don't like little girls doing boots on the ground because it's sexualizing kids to now I'm get it. Y'all don't want to hold accountability. Y'all want y'all kids to grow up fast. Y'all want y'all kids to be y'all friends and not y'all kids. I understand it. I get it. But me, I'm a father and I care. I may not say something when I see something. Y'all can keep ignoring the facts. Y'all keep being stupid. But I'm telling you, this is why black men don't speak up. Because black women and YT men always got something to say when we do. Take it how you want to take it.
Bunny crew.
So a black man came up on TikTok and said that y'all need to stop having y'all little girls do that boots on the ground challenge with the fans, popping their hips and popping their ass. So black women responded and said, why are you worried about it? You must be the PDF file. Because he was saying that y'all got y'all little girls up here, but don't y'all know it's PDF files up here and it's creeps on the internet? You know what y'all black women did? Y'all went over there to that brother page and attacked him for saying what needed to be said. He basically told you to get your fucking little girls off TikTok. because there's some nasty creeps out here, which is very true. So the brother made a response video to all y'all comments and said, you know what? That's why we don't like to speak up for black women, because every time we do, y'all always got something to say. Every time we say something, y'all always got something to say. And that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And now y'all are now attacking black men for not going to college as if it's not systemic. Right? So don't get your ass on the internet saying, oh, we're not protected. I wonder why. I wonder why you're not protected. I wonder why. Because you think you know every fucking thing, bitch. You think you got your degree. You think you got your degree. You think you don't need a man. You think you need to hang around all your girlfriends so y'all can live, laugh, love together. You think you don't need to be a man in the household. Like, fuck out of here. That's why I say, I see the frustration. I definitely see the frustration of a lot of these black men with y'all. Because y'all, they can't even say nothing to y'all. Let me tell you something. My homeboy said, he don't feel comfortable talking to black women about wearing wigs because he know that y'all gonna rip him apart. That's a fucking problem. And y'all already know my content. I don't base my content around dog pounding up on black men or dog pounding up on black women. But when I think somebody need to be held accountable, I'm gonna do so. And it's getting to the point where y'all are not teachable. Y'all don't want to fucking listen to anybody. So don't bring your black ass up here on this internet saying, oh, we not protected, because you don't want to be protected. Because you think you know every fucking thing. You think you got your degree, right? Because a lot of you have your degree, right? You think you got your degree, so you think you know every motherfucking thing. But you don't know shit. But I find it funny because I just made a video about this whole black man not having an education thing, or black men not going to college thing. You guys are constantly.
And I'm gonna tell you the secret. I'm gonna give you the skinny on the degrees, right? The whole degree thing. The black women with degrees. You know what black women do with degrees? A lot of them, they hang with other black women that don't have degrees. And the reason why they do it is, one is part of, okay, let me bring up the BGS octane scales to explain it. Let's see here. So you'll have women with degrees that would primarily they would be 89s or 92s. They will hang around. In a good example of this is the series Insecure on that was on HBO. They'll hang around women with no degrees, even ratchet women. And that's because they want to feel superior amongst lower class women. They don't want to hang around like other women that have degrees and 92s, because they those are competition. But the lower tier women, the 87s and the 85s, they're not competition. So it's like basically being a big fish in a small pond. They'll rather hang around lower class women, and they might even came from that stock themselves. Those are their friends. And a lot of times what happens is those lower class women, they'll talk shit about the woman with the degree, damn near even fight them, because they like, bitch, why you around us? You got a degree. You don't got to worry about the shit we got to worry about. You can get the job. You can get those positions. We can't get those. We struggling with our baby daddies and barely able to get food stamps. I mean, barely able to get child support and got to get food stamps. And you got a degree. Why you around us, trying to tell us what to do? And all of that. So they'll have fallouts, with them lower class women, what I'm saying, as well. They'll be like, what you think you better than me because you got a degree? Yeah, they don't tell you about that. That happens a lot within that, trying to hang with other women with no degrees, because the women with degrees, the real true women that have degrees, they wouldn't be caught dead around no lower class women, other than when they going to go get their hair done. you know, they hanging with 92s and women with degrees like themselves. You know, but I had to point that out as well. I'm spilling all the motherfucking beans tonight.
Procreating with black men that don't have a degree. I wonder why. But yet you will come on the internet running your mouth about them. Pick a struggle.
A man stopped.
And then, yeah, they'll have children with men that don't have degrees as well, because those men will just pretty much accept anything. And then, you know, basically that's the game too. Like the men with degrees would not accept them, nothing less but a standard. The men with degrees usually have a standard that they, you know, basically have set, and they can't meet that standard. You know what I'm saying? They can't stay in one place, right? So they'll get with men that, you know, basically of a lower ilk and have babies by them because they're easily able to control them. Basically, they know that they can't afford a lawyer. That's basically what I'm saying. They know they ain't gonna really fight. They know they can't afford no lawyer. They can't afford to fucking, you know what I'm saying, handle any type of custody issues or anything like that. They can barely, you know, find their birth certificate. That was that whole argument, right?
To help a 20-year-old young woman on the side of the road. He was with her for 2 hours, working on her car, and she repaid him by claiming that he SA'd her, only to admit 7 days later that she made the whole thing up. But before all of that happened, he went to jail. He lost.
Now that's a crazy white woman. Okay. Now, I mean, you probably can't. I don't know if you could see that on this. But it's a crazy, one of them chicks off of Misery. You ever saw the movie Misery? Like, there's one of them chicks. Like, you know what I'm saying? A fat Karen. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's yeah. Like, see, unfortunately, we in a world where a lot of guys don't want to help women on the side of the road no more, because it's just a lot of this vitriol, man. It's like, women talking about they just want to be left alone and they'd rather be with the bear. But when they on that side of that road, I guarantee you that whole bear shit and all of that type of stuff, it's a totally different conversation, and a lot of these women out here, they don't even got no AAA. Their AAA is calling the next man that they could possibly answer the phone to get the pick up. And it's a sad world, man. I can see. I mean, it's not. It just I can see why men want to just lead this country, because it's just so much vitriol. It's just getting worse and worse, and then if you talk about it, and it's like, he why he talking about it again? Get he them men, they keep talking about us. Why they keep talking about us? And it's like, yeah, man, all this shit, man. It's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. One of the things that I found out was this is the truth, and this is a superpower as well. This is something recent, and I talked about this. If you really rock with me, I've already talked about this. I found out that the frequency that they want you to have, the algorithm that they want you to have, is they want you to hate the opposite sex. And that's one of the things. And you can go into the rabbit hole on why that is. They want you to actually, the people, the higher ups, the powers that be, they want you to have vitriol for the opposite sex. Okay, they want both of the opposite sex to be feuding with one another and to have unlimited vitriol for one another. And they also want you to be gay on top of that. So if you have vitriol for one another, then the only things left is to be a fucking gay motherfucker. So basically, that's those two things combined, and you can kind of understand why they want those things to be like that, right? Population control, basically. And basically, one of the things that I found out, like what one of the ways that I countered that, I started to listen to fucking R&B. Most of my songs, like when I'm in the car, I basically listen to old school 90s, 80s, 70s, um 2000s R&B love songs. And that frequency literally changed basically a lot of things. My viewpoints, a lot of different shit that is positive, and that's the motherfucking formula. You know what I'm saying? That's the formula, right? And and I found that out, and I was like, oh damn, I figured this shit out. You know what I'm saying? And because I figured it out, I was like, oh, that's why they want, because I catch shit. That's one of the things that I do. I do catch stuff, and when I catch it, I catch it. And yeah, that's what I started doing, and it changed my whole bit makeup. It changed my whole makeup. I swear to God, that shit, that man, oh my God.
The shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
His job and his wife left him. So women have the nerve to fix their mouths to say, why aren't men trying to help women anymore when they're in danger, well, maybe not danger, but in trouble? This is but one reason why. And another thing is more women will not step up and hold these type of trifling women accountable. I don't believe that believe all women BS, because far too many times you find out that a woman has lied because she didn't get her way, or she's doing something for revenge or whatever. So I think in cases like this, when it turns out to be a proven lie, the women should be held accountable, if that means jail time or having to pay some heavy fines. But something has to give about this. Something has to be done about this type of foolishness.
Like I told you before, brother, they don't want the prevention. That's why they gave you so much trouble for what you were saying, what you said. Even and you had the best intentions of the world, especially with you being a father yourself. That just goes to show you they don't even give a damn. But if you would have spotted one of those pedophiles over there trying to do something with one of those kids, who do you think they would have expected to jump in and do something about it off the rip? The same person that they trying to shit on for trying to give y'all prevention about it. And then the last video is the other reason why. Like, how many false accusations have we heard about within the last year or so? Like, it seems like I reported on or reacted to every single one of them. I'm like, and that one that I just showed y'all, that's actually kind of old. I'm like, I came across that clip a couple months ago. You feel me? And
So yeah, I mean that's Average Man Unplugged. Check out his information. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say this: staying away from crazy is an elite superpower. The second sign of dysfunction that just you basically you dealing with a woman that you know is dysfunctional and she doesn't want to be checked. That's it. I mean, that's one of the reasons why basically I just cut them off quick, because I ain't got time, man, to be dealing with dysfunction. I've already dealt with enough dysfunction. I don't have any more time to deal with dysfunction. If you're dysfunctional, it is not my job to fix your dysfunction. And if you believe that you're superior with your dysfunction, I don't have time to deal with it. And I mean, that's one of the unconventional truths that I basically deal with And that's how I deal with that. That is one of the reasons why I'm mentally successful, I'm financially successful, and I have a basic level of peace that goes uninterrupted on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not gonna lie, it is times where I do have periods where I, basically ain't really got no chick. I ain't gonna lie to you. But the peace and the dysfunction that I don't have to deal with, I mean, I swear to God, like it's beautiful. Now, I ain't gonna lie, the money situation, that's something that I still got, got problems, and I'm working through those things. Um, I'm not gonna state about where I'm at with things because I'm still working things out. I'll tell you more once some things work out, but I'm working on some things right now. But once those things settle, I'll give an update. But yeah, it's like basically, I just had to. I mean, I've said this before, but I had to zero in on really like low key, like that's one of the major reasons why I'm successful. I've just pretty much I avoid these women here for the most part. And if I deal with them and they're okay with me correcting them, okay, we cool. We have something that we could work with. But the second that they believe that they're superior and their dysfunctional is excellent and great and acceptable, and then they don't want to be corrected, I let them go. I let them go where they are. I leave them where they are, and I move the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? And um, you know, I just primarily try to focus on women like this, you know, and I just keep it moving. I do not um try to see a lot of times what dudes do because they might be dysfunctional as well and they're simps. They deal with women like this and they pay dearly. Because the reason why I came up with this idea of the subprime and the prime woman, the reason why I did this was because just like you go with the subprime loan, a subprime loan is a very expensive loan. The interest rate is high, and you got to pay a lot. That's why it's called subprime. A subprime loan is very, very expensive. Like if you got bad credit and you need a car, chances are your interest rate is going to be like 20 plus percent. It's going to be like 25%, 28%, 20%. That's what your APR going to be. That's a subprime loan. A prime car loan would be something that would be probably less than 10%, less than um 7% or even 0%. Because if you got good credit, you can basically get 0% interest and you don't have any interest. So that's why basically came with the term subprime and prime. But yeah, I mean I just can't I know a lot of dudes, they deal with subprime women because they believe that's all they can get. That's all they can get. A lot of men got low self-esteem, and a lot of black men have low self-esteem, and they believe that's all they can get. So they deal with those women, and then a lot of times they have kids by women like that. So they feel compelled to stay for the kids, and the women manipulate them because they know they're staying for the kids. It's a complete disaster. But at the end of the day, you just gotta deal with it. These women, they will continuously try to harass you and be dysfunctional because they don't want to be checked. It's a demon. You're dealing with a demonic spirit. You're dealing with a demonic spirit that likes to abuse other people because it's a demonic spirit inside attached to a human, you know. And you could call it a Jezebel spirit, you can call it uh you know whatever you want to call it, but that's what you're dealing with a lot of times when you're dealing with these women here, these subprime women, they're dysfunctional. They don't want to be checked a lot of times, and they bring dysfunction towards your life. You know what I'm saying? And I just had to draw some more awareness to that situation. It turns out that I was absolutely right about Kevin Gates and his situation with Brittany Renner. I was absolutely right. So he said that he was married. He's married to her. Um, that was, basically something that I thought was true because I knew, like I said, I know about Islam. Like I know about, a lot of people, they know about Christianity, but they don't know about Islam. And they're not taught that, unless you take a class on theology or something like that, you probably not going to research anything about Islam. And a lot of pastors in churches, they talk negatively about Muslims and Islam. So I do know that because I remember I went to church and I've heard that, I heard them talk negatively about that. So yeah, yeah, so the thing is that he did mention that he was in fact married to her. It's very easy. It's very easy to get married in Islam. I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. I'm gonna share a secret with y'all. I actually got married when I was a Muslim. I was married. Like it didn't turn out. It didn't turn out to be a successful marriage, but I actually got married. It was three witnesses. It was in a it was in one of them like little restaurants in Chicago. And basically, let me make this big here. It was in one of them restaurants in Chicago, them chicken restaurants, chicken and wing restaurants. And yeah, like it's very easy, and it should be because the goal is to avoid sinning, to avoid zina, as they call it. So you get married right away, and the thing is that, you know, um both of these people, they should be married, you know what I'm saying? Because um it avoids the temptation, and it gets rid of it, you do it in the righteous way, right? So I'm gonna play this video real quick and I'm gonna get on up out of here.
I'm having them. You talking about my wife? You talking about this girl right here? I always wanted to do that.
No, I'm about to cry again.
Hey, mom, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't care about what nobody say about me or what they think about me. You talking about people who ain't never killed nothing and ain't gonna never let nothing die.
So Kevin Gates, if you want to be if you're into astrology. Now I know Kevin Gates is a Aquarius, right? He's an Aquarius, which, Aquarius men, they definitely do not like to be single. They're very extroverted, okay? Now I don't know what Brittany is. I'm gonna look up Brittany Renner, okay? Because I'm kind of interested a little bit as far as the zodiacs. So let's see what Brittany Renner's birthday is. I don't really see her birthday or anything. Let me see. Oh, okay. Okay, February 26th. So I think that might be Aries. Let me see here. Zodiac signs. Let's see here. Oh, so she is. Uh, so she's a Pisces. Okay. So you got a Pisces. You got a male Aquarius and a female Pisces. Okay. All right. So yeah. Let me finish playing this shit.
Bitch, ain't nobody on this earth can stop breathing because of you. So your opinion don't even matter to me. I don't care how grandma. I'm doing what a Muslim man supposed to do. Yeah. It take a village. I thought it was yeah. Black people love to say it take a village, but then once I become a village,
See a lot of times that's the whole goal, right? What he said is very, very valid. Like even myself, I am very, very much a very sexual man. I don't really profess it as much. Maybe I do. Yeah, on this channel I do. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like every live stream, but I mean, the thing is when you get married, like basically if you're a highly promiscuous man, right? And you get with a woman that's highly promiscuous, it makes sense because both of you have the same energy, you have the same frequency. And in the case of Brittany Renner, what I'm saying, like I don't know how long, I know longevity is also an issue, right? But as far as staying married and stuff like that. But the thing is that yeah, in society, that's what marriage is for. That's the idea of marriage, right? You change the wrong by doing something right. It doesn't change the fact that Brittany Renner is, has a high, probably libido, or Kevin Gates has a high libido. They both have high libidos, right? But they're married, so the thing is that people still criticize people, and that's fine. But the thing is that okay, the woman is married now. What else do you want from this woman? Okay, she hasn't killed anybody. She's just was out there. She was out in the streets. Now she's married. I called it. I was like, man, that man married her. It's very easy to get married in Islam. Like, I was like, that man probably married her, and that's what happened. And I was right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know for sure, but it turned out that I was right. So hey, I mean, congratulations to both of them. And I hope they have a successful marriage. I mean, he's already married to um his wife, I believe, Drika. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him, man. He's, you know, hey, you know what I'm saying? He's you know what I'm saying? I can't hate, man. I can't hate on him, man. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I can't hate on that man. That man is winning in my eyes. I believe so. So congratulations to both of them.
We had a big old village, Jerry.
Yeah, but you take care of the village. That's the difference.
I'm the chief of this bitch.
You take care of everybody.
Mufasa.
Facts.
Okay.
That was a good one.
That was amazing.
That's what I'm talking about, babes. That's what I'm support me. Celebrate me. Be dicked out about me. That's what I'm. You know she out her top still. You know she still toe up, you heard? You know she out her mind still, you heard? Hey, you know they try to give us a reality show. Damn, this bitch still recording.